Mm-hmm. I think we're live. Here we go. Hello. I'm just going to go back to my Zoom here. It's a process.
There we go. You're frozen.
How are we doing? Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have the beautiful goddess friend, Crystal, Mama, and here Danielle from Mamas Crystal Collective on Facebook and on YouTube. What's your handle on YouTube?
On YouTube, which I have barely started, but it's the Crystal Healing Mama.
There you go, Crystal Healing Mama. I love it. So I've asked you to join, and I am so glad that you're here. There's a little bit of you want to mute yourself when we, and then yeah, I think it'll be better. Thank you. So I wanted to invite you to join and chat with us, and I'm so glad that we planned for tonight because the last few days have been a little crazy, and I wanted to discuss this with you because I know you're a mama. You feel it with your kids, a homeschooled mama like me. You feel it with your kids at home, and you feel it in the shifts around you and the people you work with, the people you live with. So how have you been feeling with those energies lately?
Oh man, that's like all I can say right off the bat. It has been insane. The ups and the downs and the twists and the turns and the emotions and the blah. Like just this evening, I had it into it with my little 3-year-old. She decided that my fresh baked loaf of chocolate chip zucchini bread was her plaything when I was putting her baby brother down for a nap. And so I had chocolate and everything smeared all over my kitchen. And it's like, blah! It's been a little chaos here. But the more I'm just letting these emotions surface and working through them, it seems to like they don't hang around and linger quite as long as they used to, right? I used to be super anxious, depressed, just like all over the freaking place before I really started to awaken to our spiritual nature and the fact that we are connected to source and that we're here for more than just this physical life, right? We're not just here to just be here and work and pay bills and die. That's not what we're here for. And so once I started on my path and started opening up to all this and the energy world and everything and learning to work through my emotions and feel them versus suppressing them, like it's shifted a lot. I used to really get stuck. When I was feeling down, I would feel down for a very fucking long time, right? Weeks, months, sometimes, depending on what was going on in my situations. But now in my life, it's more like an hour or two. Like it's not like I'm not deep and dark for very long. Like I feel my shadow to the fullest. I allow those emotions to come up and I allow the expression of them, even if that's fucking scary. Because I think in society nowadays, we're taught to fear our emotions, right? We're taught that they're bad emotions. So don't feel them, don't express them, push them all down and pretend they don't exist. And then they just come out at other people later on in our life, right? So with the emotions going on right now, it's been crazy. Right now we're going through eclipse season, okay? So Mars is going retrograde, which only happens once every few years, right? Which is a big deal. When a planet goes retrograde, it looks in the sky to be going backwards, but really it's just going the same way, we're just facing it differently, right? But energetically, this signifies the slowing down, the going deep within and working that shit out in order to come out on the other side renewed and fresh, right? So with Mars retrograde on top of eclipse season on top, like, oh, this shadow is just coming up. And it's not a bad thing though either, right? Like the shadow needs to come up to the light in order to be worked through. So
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing, is like we often see shadow as negative. Like we're so scared to go deep into those emotions because they were told to us that they're wrong, like that you, like you mentioned, suppressing them. But ultimately we have to pass through them. We have to go through that zone of discomfort. I just made a reel in my draft about that, pushing through that uncomfortable discomfort. Yeah, pushing through that discomfort so we can move through it, because otherwise you get stuck with it. And we know, because we repeat those patterns over and over again until you're like, okay, it's not working, should I try something else? Right? But we spend so much energy to get there. We got Gypsy Mama who says hi. Danielle can see the chat, so I'll be the I'm logged in on my phone. That's how I figure it out. And I put the nice title on the Zoom, and then it appears live on YouTube with Malika's meeting room. So I don't know, but we're talking energies here with Danielle if you're joining us. And we're talking about what's happening right now in the world. In my household, I can talk a little bit about what's happening in my household. I've been moving through a lot. I've been working through some major blockages, and the blockages I have are about blockages. So it's kind of funny. It's like I'm just in it, you know? So moving through those things. And also my son has been very sensitive, sleeping a lot too. Me too, because my nights are not good. I almost puked yesterday morning. Definitely going through Ascension symptoms, and like talking with friends and reading about it. It's like, yeah, this is what's happening. So our children can feel that, and our children can sense that. So how do you deal with this, Mama? Like, how do you support your children? I have only one, but I couldn't imagine having four.
well, I find the biggest part of this is being open and transparent with our kids, you know, expressing what we're feeling, letting them in on that internal dialogue that we're going through. You know, I'm having a rough day. I'm feeling really heavy. The energy feels heavy right now. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I'm frustrated, whatever. Like being transparent and open with our kids, I feel like is the best way to help them see that they can navigate this too. The problem is when we grew up, we were taught to suppress our emotions and not to talk about these things, right? And so it's really hard for us to talk about them. And in order to like work through those emotions, to recognize them, that's another hard part. Sometimes we're in this crazy mood and we have no idea why, because we're not able to properly look at our emotions and dive down and figure out where they're coming from. Sometimes these surface emotions aren't really what we're feeling. They're just are the way that we're expressing them, right? Sometimes anger definitely isn't always anger. Sometimes it's frustration or sadness or just feeling unworthy and unheard and you know, all these different things can be coming up. So I feel myself for working through these things with my kids and trying to model this behavior of trying to figure out the root cause of my emotions, not just blurting them out and then not talking about them. Like if I am pissed off, like I was today, when my 3-year-old freaking, oh my God, I let myself scream. I do. And some people say, bad mom for expressing those emotions in front of your children. But the thing is I don't just leave it at that. I come to my kids afterwards and I'm like, guys, I'm really sorry that I freaked out and took it out on you guys. Okay. This is what I'm feeling. I could have gone about it on a different way, but I chose to express my emotions how I felt like I needed to express them in the moment, right? If we don't express our emotions, they're just getting stuck in our energetic fields, and then they're going to have to come out later. And generally, when we suppress these emotions and pack them on top of each other, when they come out later, they're going to come out way bigger than they were in the first place, right?
Oh, totally. And it's like layers, right? When I used to go see my amazing counselor, she would call them layers of onions, right? It just seems insignificant to others from the exterior, but when you go through that emotion again that you haven't processed, that comes back as a trigger often, right? Well, it's like layers and layers of onions that come all at the same time. So it's just like, like it's not just that one layer of onion, it's all of them coming together. So it's hard for holding space for ourselves when this happens and not judge and be gentle with ourselves, but it's also that's what our kids need, that's what our inner child need, and that's what we need to grieve, right? Like that's what all these mixed emotions and not understanding, and sometimes it's just confusing because it's grief, and whatever it is, it could just be grief of something from who knows when, right? Like that comes up. And that's the other thing is like that inner child or that child of ours that is having a tantrum, my child having tantrums today. I held him like a little fetus position a few times. That's what he wanted. He himself put into my arms. I mean, I take him and then he put himself in the position of a fetus because he just needed to be held and cried. He just needed to cry a lot, a lot. But like, and that's what we need too sometimes. We need to hold ourselves like we're like holding our inner child and just love on them, love on us, and do all the food that we need and the good teas that we need and the essential oils and whatever we need, the bath, the who knows what, the walk, the chant, the dance, the gym time that we need to go to. That's not me, but it's just if somebody's listening and wants to go to the gym. It's like, oh. So yeah, whatever is needed, right? But like our children are very sensitive, so they're gonna feel our shit and they're gonna feel their own shit and who else's shit behind. So I mean, you do past life clearing. This is something that you've been gifted with, Danielle, and I have had the chance to get some healing through this. Sometimes we get shit from our past, and it's stopping us from going further. And it doesn't matter whatever we try, we're still feeling blocked. So that's something that you can help people with, right? Talk to me a little bit more about this, especially for people who are like, what?
Ah, yes. It's so crazy. Like it only really came into like even my peripheral vision, like probably about five or so years ago when I started getting into all the energies and all that jazz, right? But what I started to recognize was sometimes we'll have these energetic blockages, or like we'll have like certain situations and things that keep reoccurring in our life over and over and over again. And like we might not recognize that we don't necessarily have anything in our childhood that would have brought this about and created this blockage in order for us to work through, right? And sometimes it can be really confusing. But through my own spiritual awakening and diving deep within myself to start working out all these blockages within myself, I found that for me, once I can find a blocked emotion, sometimes that blocked emotion isn't from this life, we are all energy, right? And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. We are not just here on this planet right now. Our souls and our energy have been here for a very, very long time, even before this planet, right? Since the inception of everything, like at the base root of it all, we come from source. We all start there, and then it branches off into the divine masculine and feminine, and then from there it's eons and eons, right? So we can still hold residue from the path of source that our personal energies have gone through. So I can find emotional blockages, and then once I find the emotions, so I can sit, clear myself, and tap into someone's or my energetic field, and find a blockage wherever in their energy it is. Say it's guilt or shame or fear. Fear is a big one. Fear is like the root of a lot of them. But once I find that one emotion, I can kind of like follow that emotion, and then like a story starts to play out in my mind. I can figure out what circumstance that specific emotion came from. And once I can tap into that life of yours with that emotion, I can start to like work out different details of the life. Like, where were you born? What was your family life like as a child? Like, was the trauma as an adult? Was the trauma as a child? Like, and I can kind of start piecing together the story of your soul in that life. And because it starts with one emotion, okay? It starts with the one emotion. And by the time that I'm done piecing together the whole life, there's generally like 5, 6, 7 different emotions or limiting beliefs that surface from this, right? It's not just easy. It's not just one emotion that gets caught in there. That one emotion is like the outer part of the onion. And then you have to keep going back through the layers to work them all out to get them out of your system. And so then once I find all these limiting beliefs and all these emotional blockages, I can then use beautiful crystals depending, right? Oh, black. So Malika asked me earlier what crystal we should use for tonight, and I said black tourmaline. This is my favorite protection stone. Like any of the heavy, dirty shadow work, like all that heaviness, black tourmaline is my freaking go-to. I've got the sphere here. I like to use the sphere to in myself. I feel energy like spatially, like in my field and on my body. So I really like to like work it through with the stones. Lately, I've had a lot of like feminine, which is our left side. I'm probably opposite on here, but our left side, heart center. Usually lately it's been up higher. So when we talk about our heart chakra, we have our green heart chakra, but once you start raising up towards our throat chakra, up in the shoulder area, that's generally where they kind of like have more of the pink tones. And that generally is what relates to past lives. So think of it like our root is like really rooted in this 3D, this life. Whereas when we start to raise up higher in our heart center, we start to get towards our soul's history and where she used to be, right? She or he, because that's the thing, like we could have been masculine in another life. Like we all have the masculine and the feminine within us, right? So it's not always that you'll be more feminine and show up as a feminine person. Like it's can always be different. But yes, past lives are interesting. They've opened up so many fucking doors for me personally.
Yeah. Gypsy Mama saying, love you ladies. This is such a great chat. I love this chat too. I was gonna say I love hearing you talk about this, like you become so passionate and like, you know, like it's just like when I'm starting to talk about chanting and what it does to my body, I'm like, oh, I should stop talking now. People want to chant, right? Like it's just when you, I didn't say that because I wanted you to stop talking. I just mean like when we start talking about the things that we love, it's beautiful to hear you talk about this with passion. Obviously you are passionate, and I've experienced past life clearings with you, and you're amazing, and I just love you. I have a super question for you. So if in a world of superheroes where we all have superpowers, what's your superpower? That's a good question. I love it.
Oh man, that is a good superpower. Oh, good question. Good question. What's my superpower? Like when you said in a world where we're all superheroes, I'm like, we're already superheroes. Right? We're already here. We're already
I thought about it. I thought about it when I was saying it, and then went like, it's all good. I don't need to correct myself, but you did. So thank you.
Okay. So if we're talking like Marvel superheroes, I feel like transportation,
No, I mean,
like you go to.
you're a superhero now in this life, like as the superhero. Sorry, my iPad was about to. But what is your super power right now in this life as Danielle? What is that superpower of yours?
I think my superpower is being able to pinpoint the places and the shifts that others are they're needing to take in order to open themselves up to source, to really awaken themselves and remember that freaking magic that they are. I have this innate ability of being able to see exactly that shift that somebody needs to take, finding that spot that needs a little bit of healing, that needs a little bit of work, that needs a little bit of help, and then creating that shift, alchemizing, so like transmuting that blockage in order to make it something that we can move forward with. I think that would be my superpower.
That's a pretty cool power. For the people following us, if you want to drop in the chat, what do you think is your superpower in this life at this moment? What is your superpower? Yeah, Gypsy Mama says she loves to see the passion when people are sharing authenticity. I know we need to get there though. I remember the way I used to talk about my stuff, and now it's like night and day. The confidence, like for the longest I thought I was an imposter. Well, I didn't grow up in India. I don't have this in my tradition, like why do I chant kirtan? Well, I do it non-traditionally, and I do more than just kirtan with voice, but that's kind of how I started, like connecting that music background of mine with the spirituality that I was, wanting to get into. So at some point, I thought I was an imposter, and I needed to, move through that to become who I am now and what I want to share. And like knowing that this is my route. This is my route, my route. This is my path. This is where I'm heading. Like, this is where I need to go. This is like, I'm at the right place, right? But we need to get there, I think. Like just doing an interview like that on YouTube. Would you have done one like 2 years ago? Talking about your gifts of like changing, like past life clearing, and it's crazy, right? But this is where we are now, and it's amazing.
Seriously, even just like even just last year, I don't think I would have been able to express the same passion, right? Like I would probably be saying similar things, but they wouldn't be like the energy behind it would have still held a lot of those limiting beliefs that I still held about it. This past year, I've worked a lot on healing my witch wounds of like my fear of expressing this side of myself, my fear of showing my connectedness to source, because that's a huge thing for all feminine energies on this freaking planet, especially right now. Like, I really feel like energetically in this last probably year or two, we're coming to a place where we are finally safe enough in ourselves and our environments in order to express and figure, like, really open up that heart and just be our true authentic self. Which, like, honestly, if we look back at the history of this planet, like, we haven't had this before. It was never, in like this societal, maybe like if we go like way back before human history, right? If we go back to like ancient, say Atlantis or Lemuria or like that kind of stuff, but like that's different. When we're talking about like human history, like even like the real history that we might not necessarily know, we've never, since the fall of our consciousness, we haven't had this safe space. Like, it finally feels safe enough to start peeling back those onion layers of our heart and like really letting it fucking shine, which is like crazy to think about. So like when it comes to that, like we have so many blockages that we are currently going through. And then with all these eclipses and these heightening energies, like, guys, it hasn't always been like this. With these energies back to back, this is happening, and then this is happening, and then this is happening, and blah, 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 blah. It hasn't been like that until now.
Schumann's
Right?
is all over the place. Like, it's been for months. Like, I feel like
It's
there's
been
always,
like the last year.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's been a while. Well, so how do we
Really?
how do we wake up in the morning, keep a smile on? How do we go through life and still be amazing parents and good at our job and follow the rules on the road when we're driving? And how do we deal with this? How do you deal with this? Like,
I slow the fuck down. That's a big one. I don't know if anybody here probably knows anything about human design, but personally, I'm a projector. So for me, it's even more like important that I really learn to slow down. Like, in our world, we're taught to like speed up. You need to be doing more, pushing more out, more. And then when we're in this frantic like fear energy, that's where everything starts to freaking trip up and everything just explodes and just like bashes us in the face, right? So personally, and I need to continue remembering this because this is like a forever journey. Like, I am nowhere near freaking perfect and aligned all the time. Believe me. I don't think any of us are. It's a continuous journey that we're going to keep going through, right? But really learning to slow down and ask ourselves, is it worth it to get so overwhelmed and caught up and frustrated in everything about it, right? Like, yes, we can express those emotions, but then we ask ourselves, okay, do I really need to keep this up? Do I really need to keep feeling this emotion, or can I let it go and slow down? And that's self-care, girl. That self-care is so necessary. When we don't care for ourselves and we feel burnt out and we feel underappreciated and all these things, like it all just compounds. And then that's when we're triggering ourselves even more. And then when we're triggered, and we're living in these emotions, like, we're creating our reality. If we're focusing on all these triggers all the time and we're focusing on all of these negative things in our life, the universe is just going to keep giving us more of it. Yeah. It's almost like it's testing us and asking us, slow down. Don't take this life quite so seriously. Mm-hmm. Recognize that, shit's going to happen.
No matter what.
We just got to flow through it.
Yeah, those tests happen for a reason. It's like, okay, now with all the knowledge that you've gained, if you're going to react differently and you're going to make the same mistake, or are you going to change things, right? And that's the thing that I'm noticing a lot is Again, you've mentioned it, that self-care, right? That it's again self-love, compassion, love, holding ourselves, like so, so important. When we're grieving, when we're going through high shifts, when we have yelled at our kids and we didn't want to, and we apologize and we're taking accountability for it. um, when we have to cancel on someone because we need to think about ourselves first, going against, like, another way that we can respect ourselves is honoring what we want to do. I know we had plans today, but I'm not feeling well, so I'm gonna have to cancel for whatever we had plans for. And but we'll reconnect soon. I think that's okay to do that. To do that to the same person 10 times in a row, probably not. But sometimes, if it's an appointment for an important job, probably not. But sometimes it's okay to say no, um, and just, or cancel, and just think about, like, that, going back inner, right, inside of us, going back to nurture ourselves, going back to relax and slow down our rhythm of life, our nervous system. And the nervous system needs more than one day off, by the way. If you're overstimulating and have stuck and blocked energy, stressed emotions all over your body, in your tissue, like in your body tissues, right, like, then you have to do things. So we've talked about crystals. We've talked barely, but a little bit about chanting is a good way also to just relax. Um, there's breath work, there's meditation. What else can we do to calm ourselves, or to just, like, regroup, retreat? A bath, that's always a good one. A bit about comfort food.
Yes, I was gonna say baths. Like water is so amazing. It's so cleansing. It really helps. Like water can pull out and hold that energy that we are trying to move out and shift out of our bodies. So personally, I like my go-to is a nice deep soak detox baths, right? So I put in some baking soda, some either Dead Sea salts or Epsom salts or Himalayan salt, just some sort of salt, right? Because when we put that salt into the water, it's able to create the difference in the salt content between our intracellular membranes and the water itself. So that's when those toxins and those energies, because let's be real, everything that's physical stems from the energetic. So any of those toxins or anything, that's actually negative energy sticking in our bodies. So that can actually pull those negative energies out into the water. So personally, I like to use like beeswax candles with my baths because they create the negative ions in the energy. They clear the energy as well. I line the bath with crystals that I've chosen intuitively. Really trust your intuition on crystals. I know lots of people want to look, oh, what is the metaphysical properties of this stone? But that's someone else's interpretation of that stone. Start listening to that inner self, like start listening to your intuition on it, and just trust, because your body and your spirit knows exactly what it needs, right? So I'll choose a bunch of stones intuitively, place them around the bathtub, have the candles going. I'll either meditate or just do a simple body scan. Personally, sometimes I'll dive into a past life if I feel like it's necessary, or finding some just blocked emotions, like what emotions are coming up for me right now, right? Because like our healing process is natural. We naturally want to heal these things within us. So anything that needs to be healed is going to be coming up in our regular day-to-day lives. What kind of emotions have been surfacing for me lately? What kind of limiting beliefs have been coming up that I'm playing into? And then what I like to do is at the end of my bath, when I've had all of these emotions and I've done the energy work and everything, I like to stay in the bathtub while after I pull the plug. And I like to just like close my eyes and literally envision that energy going down the drain and releasing. And it's just like so, so amazing. And if you don't have time for a bath, guys, a shower can be just as good. Just imagine the same thing. Imagine as that water's cascading down your body. Imagine those negative emotions. I don't like the word negative because nothing's really negative, you know, like they are, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But any of those not so nice, uncomfortable emotions, just imagine those flowing down and being encapsulated within the water and then flowing down that drain. And like the release of it is just amazing. Like once I actually started doing this as a regular practice and I close my eye, like I can feel it now. I can feel it starting at my crown and working its way down as the water goes down. And sometimes if I'm working on a specific chakra or a specific part in my body, like it'll stick there for a little bit longer and I'll help it go down as the water drains. And it's just amazing. Like it's honestly one of my favorite ways of healing myself. But there are so many different ways. Grounding, getting out on the ground, getting your hands and feet in the dirt, feeling Mother Earth, sitting out in nature. Like if you sit out in nature and just like sit and meditate and like, just really listen to the wind too. The wind is amazing. I remember the other day I was sitting out, it was probably a couple weeks ago, back when it was still super nice outside. I was sitting out on the land and I was just like meditating. I was like making some tones, like just ooh or whatever, different, whatever felt right. And then like I was repeating some affirmations, and then like right at the like exact divine moment, the wind shifts or it picks up, or, you know, like nature has so many amazing messages for us if we just slow down and listen and recognize that they are messages. A lot of people just like throw it off like it's nothing, right?
We forget to connect with nature. I just want to go through the chat a little bit. Keith says hi. He's new from New Zealand, listening to us. We got Krista from Regina, who I'm going to do the kirtan and the diksha. She said she's needing to take the whole week off because of the Ascension symptoms. And Gypsy Mama says our household is also at home because they're sick and it's not normal cold. And she thinks it's about a symptoms as well from all the purging and releasing, right? Oh, Keith says Asatoma Sadgamaya. Yes, this is a great mantra for bringing that from the shadow to the light, from darkness to the light, from the death to immortality. Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite, Keith. I'm glad you mentioned it. And then yeah, your bath sounds pretty familiar, Gypsy Mama and you. Similar, but the chat is going. You're missing out on the chat. That's okay. Yeah, my baths are similar too, but I need to prepare my salts and everything like separate. Right now, I put like the salts and then the borax because I put borax in my bath too, and then I put the baking soda and then I put oils. But I have like rose petals, I have chamomile, I have lots of herbs that I could add, you know, to my salts to really like infuse it with Reiki and energy and then really do that ritual starting from scratch. But like, you know, you have to take that time to make it. When I was visiting you, you made me, well, you made a salt bath for the family, but it happens that it was brand new for me that day. And you made it for me to take that bath and you took some crystals out. And I just needed to move some stuff in my hips. I've been having sometimes some hips you know, things happening. And yeah, it's nice to have bath. I like your guys' bath, your gal's bath. What else do we have? Yes, outside. Yeah, outside is the big Gypsy Man talking about going outside for me too. Well, I have two dogs. I need to go outside every day. But yeah, tonight we just went for a walk in the rain with my son and I before my tutor client before he went to bed with the dogs. It was nice. Just a little walk. I think it was only Domino. Yeah, it was only Domino tonight. Nope, it was both. I don't know anymore. Doesn't matter. Being outside, very important. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, Krista says she doesn't have a bathtub. What? Krista, you need a bathtub. See, that's very important. When I came to visit my place because I'm renting now, it's like, need a bathtub and lots of storage. But storage. So, what else can we talk about tonight? I think I'm kind of done. Should we wrap up the call? Do you have anything else you want to add? Just take it easy, guys. It's pretty intense right now, right? Like, we just got to take it easy. What else? Do you have any advice for us who sometimes just need to be reminded? Something.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. All the water. I'm saying this as myself. I don't have any water right now. I really should. So especially because we're going through all these ascension symptoms, everything's coming up. Like, it's all energetic purges, right? So we really need to ensure that we're super freaking hydrated. Be super graceful with yourself and where you're at. Like, don't judge yourself if you just want to fucking lay on the couch all day. Guys, it's a-okay. Do it. Do it. Okay? If you feel you need that, freaking do it. If you want to ignore the dishes in the sink because you feel like you just can't handle it right now and you need to fucking rest, do it. Be intentional with your time and really slow down. I feel like I want to do a little smudge, pull a card, and maybe let's clear an emotion or two. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I've got some sage here. Light.
It's happening live. So while you're doing this, so many people feeling hip stuff. Yeah. So Gypsy Mama, who also works with clients, who works with people in needs in physical, sometimes pain, right? She mentions hips. Yeah, my hips have been, I think it's definitely emotions that I've been storing, but as I work through those emotions, as I work through clearing this, it should get better.
So I think also in regards to hips, like our psoas that's in there, that's like one of our deepest muscles in our tissues. And it's our muscle that's really connecting our legs to the trunk of our body, right? And so personally, I really feel like right now, because of all the heightened energies, I had to switch to Palo. My stage wasn't lighting. But I feel like it's really hard for us as a spiritual being to allow that anchoring into the earth and allowing that anchoring into that 3D realm right now. You know, for a long time, like, we're slowly, finally really anchoring those higher dimensions of ourselves in. So I feel like that psoas is going to be that opening, that one that's really gonna connect us deep into and anchoring ourselves into the earth right now and anchoring ourselves into this reality, right? So I feel like a lot of those fears are going to be coming up in those hips, in that root, our feeler of being safe, right? Like, our safety in our root is a big one. And because we haven't felt safe on this planet, and because we haven't felt safe as a human being, this is why it's coming up. So I feel like that's one that we're going to have to work through tonight. It's just a fear of our safety on this plane. Even as spirits, like, our souls are afraid of this plane at the moment. All the trauma that the human race has gone through. Like, we're talking about trauma that we're going through now on this planet, but imagine back in like 1500, 1400, like back, like, imagine. Like, we couldn't anchor our souls back there because it was too fucking hard, right? Because it was too fucking scary and dark. Like, the darkness took over this planet for a very fucking long time. And our spirit, our souls were not ready to connect. So now we're starting to release those emotions and those fears. And that's going to settle in that root, right? In those hips, right? So do I want to pull a card first?
Yeah,
I'll
let's
put
go.
a timer. So I'm pulling from my Light Sears Tarot deck. If you follow me on Instagram, I do have a little video I did on there relating to my history with tarot, if you will. When I got into spirituality, I was terrified to touch tarot. I just wouldn't touch tarot. I liked oracle decks and angel decks. They were awesome, and I would touch them, and I would pull from them all the time, and it was great, but I would not touch tarot. I was like freaking terrified. And it wasn't until earlier this year that I recognized, holy shit, it's because in a past life I read tarot and did all the witchy things, and I was fucking burned at the stake for it multiple times. Let's be real. We, as like the amount, how long on this planet women were persecuted for any of the things that we are doing now. Oh, like the amount of trauma there for each and every one of us. Let's be real. There isn't a single person on this planet that wasn't impacted by that at some point in their soul history. So I did on my channel, I did a release of some of the fears regarding that. But let's see what the collective message for today is. So we have 6 of Cups. This really speaks about connection with our animals. Let's see what the book says. So I like to read this book because it's really good. Ooh, went right back to it. So I'm going to read the light side today. This deck has a light side and a shadow side. Maybe I'll read both because we're dealing with the shadow a lot right now. So I'll read both. So the light seer aspects of this card are nostalgia, reconnecting with people from the past, harmony, themes of your life, inner child, and future self. The shadow side is being stuck in the past, lamenting decisions and actions, a need to forgive others, a reminder to forgive yourself. Ooh, that's a good one. Letting people in, and a need to deal with regret. So you may be experiencing nostalgia or feeling triggered by old memories. It's time to forgive yourself by releasing any residual guilt that you carry from past relationships, trauma, or previous actions. Accept your humanness. That's a big one right now, guys. And stop lamenting the decisions that you've made up until now. Memories are a profound tool for processing lessons and healing. Who you were can highlight how far you've come, and that growth can shine beauty on where you are headed next. Time is a beautiful thing. Contemplate the needs of your inner child or listen to advice from your future self. Sometimes this card is a literal message that someone from your past is going to re-enter your life, or that it's the perfect moment to connect with old kindreds and to reminisce. When we connect with all the moments on our timeline, we truly find our wholeness. So our affirmation for today, guys, is I am at peace with my past. Oh, that one feels heavy. It has brought me to where I am meant to be, because it's true. Every step that we've taken on our path, however uncomfortable and messy it may have been in the freaking moment, it has gotten you to exactly where you are right now. All is in divine timing, whether you recognize it or not. Every little thing that has happened in your life up until now has gotten you to now. We are at a time in history, we are at a time when we are awakening, and there's nothing that can stop this, ever. There's nothing that can stop this. We are awakening, we are remembering who we truly are, and we're starting to bring that harmony to each other and this planet. We're creating that shift right now, guys. We are creating that shift, and everything that has happened up until now and continuing is divine. It's meant to be. I just shared a post earlier today, even reminding everybody, you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. You are doing exactly what you're meant to do right now, and you know exactly what you're meant to know right now.
It's so tough to get there, though. That trust, it always comes back. It always comes back to that when we start going into those lower frequencies, right? Those what if, but it's scary, but it's fearful. When we get in there, we are vibrating in a lower frequency and we can't be in that trust zone. So, like, I'm talking from my own experience. I get those emotions still and I get those feelings still. So yeah, that trust that comes back up. It's a great card. Gypsy Mama also says it's a great card. There's lots going on in the chat here. I know you're getting ready to move through this emotion, right? Just wanted to share. Yeah, people are finding a little bit of fear and related to the, like Krista was talking about the life in Canada, which is expensive and having to take time off as entrepreneur. It's hard. We don't get paid when we take time off. So that once again, trust that it's happening for a reason, that the money will come, that if we need to rest now. So like, yeah, it kind of resonates with when we talked and it resonates with the card. Okay, I'll give you the.
Oh, there. Okay, so what's coming up for me, guys, today for us to release as a collective is that like deep fear of connection, the fear of connecting to our souls, the fear of connecting to our divine powers, to our creator, to our source, right? And it's like the fear that when we've connected in the past, it's felt like it's been false. Like it's been like anytime we've connected, we have then been ripped from it. Like it's like a fear of like the other shoe dropping. It's a fear to fully let go because we feel like we have to be on our toes preparing for the worst, because any time that we have connected and really dove in and been real and raw before, it's bit us in the ass. But guys, we're safe now. That collective is safe now. And I know it's hard to understand. And I know it's hard to trust. But we're safe now. We're there. And when we're able to release this fear of connecting, and we're really able to release this fear of our intuition, this fear of that inner knowing, when we're able to release that and just give up and give in to that source, give in to that higher power, give in to that intuition and that inner knowing, that's when that real fucking shift is taking place, guys. So don't judge yourself for not being there yet, because that's not the point of it. Accept where you are and understand that we can continue releasing and we can continue connecting, and you are safe in that space now. I feel like especially that feminine side, like I said, we've been working really hard on that feminine side. And I feel like that's because our feminine side, and that feminine is that direct connection to spirit, right? That's where our intuition comes from. That's the feminine is what brings that spirit to life. That's what anchors us into that 3D. And she's fucking scared, guys, for good reason. For good reason. So we're going to give her space, but we're going to tell her that she's safe. She's safe and she's supported. And now is your time to open up and fucking shine. Now is your time to open up and shine and let the world see you for who you truly are at the deepest level. Because remember, guys, we are all magic. We are all magic. It's just a matter of allowing ourselves. Allowing it, because we're holding ourselves back from it, guys. The easiest thing on this earth is to give in and let go and trust, right? To really connect. That's like what we're fucking made for. But when we hold on to this fear, we hold ourselves back. So we're going to finish releasing that fear of being seen, the fear of being heard, the fear of being our true authentic selves, our fear of connecting into our knowing and our intuition. Just overall our fear of being here in this time and place on this plane. Because we are here for a divine reason, guys. We are here to bring that divinity, to bring that knowing, to bring God, source, the universe, to bring it here and create that heaven on earth that has always meant to be here. It's just been hiding under the surface. So let's crack open that shell. A lot of us hold a shell around our heart center, heart space. When we talk about chakras, talk about the hearts, but our heart energy and our heart energy center is even deeper than that. Our heart space and our electromagnetic field within our heart encompasses all of the different levels of our energy. So we're just breaking down that wall. We need to break it down in order to build anew. So I want you all to just take a couple deep breaths and really like exhale, like make a sound when you exhale, really release. And we're going to replace that fear with I am safe. I am divinely guided at all times. All I need to do is drop back down into my heart, out of my mind, and remember who I truly am. Is your magic. Each and every one of you. You're fucking magic.
My body was dancing a little bit at the end. I feel like when we talk about heart, well, the heart is the chakra that connects the higher to the lower chakras. And often, like, I feel it's so close to the throat, right? So there's like always this like space that I feel I need to send more energy to, or use crystals, like you mentioned, and also the tension that we have. There's also the root. And in that loving ourselves, I feel like we also have to be in a place where we can receive and ground, right? We talked about the feminine earlier. Like already my voice is like lower, and I feel like I'm just like, I'm just a little high on vibration. It's happening. But yeah, that root chakra, like to ground and really let yourself like connect to Mama Gaia. To now, I'm sitting on a sheepskin instead of the ceramic. Personally, it's the animal. It's the earth, right? That belongs to the earth. So those little things that can help. We talk about crystals, water, sheepskin or wood, or I don't know. It doesn't come to mind, but like there's lots of different things that can make us feel maybe like a bone broth, or right, a tea, a herbal tea that really brings us to the woods, to the to nature. Like if we can't go out, or if we can't go to nature, there's a few things that we can do to help trust, to help feel like in a space. Because when we're in fight or flight constantly with the parasympathetic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system that's all over the place, that fight or flight, we can't really be in that space. We can't even sometimes have the intuition to know that's what we need because we're all over the place, right? So, like, really take that time to connect, that time to sit and ground and connect the root. Um, it gives a space or a container or um, to really connect to whatever is needed, right? So, like, follow our intuition, but if you never practice anything, you can't have the intuition. So it's kind of like, well, do the work, do your thing, do your practice, whatever it is, and then this will come easier. Like just moving through emotions, like those big emotions that we have. How can we move through them so like fast? We've talked about this earlier today, tonight. Um, like at some point we've been doing our work, and then it's in the chat. It's coming up too, like trusting, like yeah, we have to do it. It's part of, like, they were talking about this a little earlier. um you're feeling like Gypsy and Maya saying, you're feeling the energy, Krista, because this is right now, and Mother Gaia, we're meant for this time. So it's true, we came into this body, into this time for this. It took me a couple of years to get shift into gear with everything that's been happening, to be honest. At some point I was grieving a lot, to be honest. That was a big grief period of my life. I haven't experienced death so much, so thank goodness. I'm older when this will be happening more. But I have been grieving a lot, the how the world is going, and the changes, and the decisions, and the way people have talked to each other, and decisions. So this has been a big grieving. But now that we know this is happening, there's no coming back. There's no, like, trying to avoid it. We're feeling those Ascension symptoms. They're coming, and we gotta move through them. So thank you so much tonight for helping us, like, gather tools, basically modalities, to follow our intuition, to trust, and to take care of ourselves, right? Thank you so much. So remind me your YouTube again, The Crystal Healing Mama. Here you go. And go give her a follow, a subscribe. She's just starting her channel, but I know this is going to be amazing. Lots of the amazing healers are on YouTube now, and lots more are coming. Thank you so much for coming on my channel tonight. Thank you, everyone in the chat. That was pretty amazing. Feeling feeling really blessed to have such a beautiful meeting.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Totally. And I just wanted to remind everybody, like, if you're on this path and you're feeling like you're out of your depth and you haven't necessarily connected to that intuition yet, that is okay. Like, I personally didn't get where I am right now without help from those that were a little bit further. Like, always reach out. We're here as a community. We can't do it all by ourselves. So if you're in need of some help or guidance or support, or just someone in your back corner, like, reach out. I would definitely be willing to help you through anything. I know Malika's around to help you through as well. You can follow, like, I'm on Instagram a lot, or Facebook. Like, I have a group on Facebook, a private VIP group. I do some crystal sales, but I also do some energy work and card pulls and stuff in there. So that's Mama's Crystal Healing Collective, with some stars on Facebook. And then I'm at Mama's Crystals with a Z, whatever you want to call it, on Instagram. But we're always around. Like, we didn't get where we are by ourselves. We all have this innate ability within us, but sometimes those outer layers of the onion we can't see because we're shrouded in the middle of the onion. So we need help removing some layers before we're able to do it ourselves. And I love helping people removing those layers and then seeing them fucking shine, Like, I know you, Malika, when I first met you a few years ago, like, you have fucking transformed so fucking much. Yeah, seriously, girl, you should be fucking proud of yourself, because you're just fucking shining. Like, so fucking hard. And I'm like so fucking proud of you. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad to be there to help you through it when I can.
Oh, thank you. And I have to send you the compliment. It's been amazing to see you come out of that shy self and put yourself out there with the amazing gifts that you have. At some point, when I keep saying that, it's like this is no longer a choice, it's like a responsibility. Like we need to step into that power. And one thing that I do is help people with their voice found their power. And I know it's been helping a lot of us. Even me as a singer, it took me years to say I finally found my voice, and it sounds super cliche, but it's we're talking about our inner power here and our ability to step into our power, really. So, and there's lots of ways to do it, but my way is my favorite way, and what I help and guide people with is with the voice. And we know there's so many modalities out there, and like it's just yeah, it's just amazing to be able to work alongside all the amazing people that I know. So I'm going to edit the title of the talk, and I'll put the credentials and whatever the links in the description. If you're watching this in replay, thank you so much for tuning in, and please comment, let us know what you liked, if you liked it. Well, thank you again, Danielle, so much, my friend, my sister, for joining. Thank you, everyone on the chat. That was amazing to have all of you being so active. This video is probably going to be online tomorrow. We'll see. YouTube kind of decides. Sometimes it's right away, sometimes it's 24 hours later. But enjoy. Thank you again. Oh, wow.